Like when I was making those YouTube videos, he was like my age now. That's just insane to me.
Specifically kind of for the actors and especially Dylan in particular, when we read the book, and obviously when we see the movie, we kind of are with Thomas in the fact that like he knows nothing about the Glade and the other Greenies, and he knows nothing about the Gladers, and neither do we. And I was kind of wondering, as an actor going into it, did all of you guys kind of try to keep in the dark about the future plot lines that go on in the end of the book, plus the second and the third book, and the prequel, or did you kind of read up on all of it to get into your characters so you know more than your character knows at the beginning and stuff like that?
Yeah. Is this? I can't even tell if this is working. Is it? No. Okay. Yeah.
Hello? Yeah, okay, so that's what you do. Okay. Wow, way too late then. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, you know, like playing a character who is sort of reversed almost, you know, sort of his memories erased his entire previous life. He isn't even aware of. I mean, yeah, I don't know. As an actor, it's like it's kind of a cool thing. You can kind of create things from there. It's more about the character's journey, what he discovers about himself in this kind of new resurrected life, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Does that work?
Yeah, I mean, their job really is to react to the things that we're throwing at them constantly, you know. And so, not knowing necessarily what's coming next is actually a good thing for them, you know what I mean? And speaking of like the first scene in the elevator, I mean, it's very much what James wrote. It's very much, I saw it very much as him being born into this world. He's soaking wet, he's scared and confused, and that kind of is the kind of overall kind of arc of the movie. Is this vulnerable boy that comes into the movie and eventually he leaves a man, or at least a man, someone who's about to become a man. So I think that whole mystery that kind of drives the movie essentially really works for the actors in this circumstance. It's very cool. I mean, there is that YA label that's kind of on our back, and it is a little bit of a target. And I personally didn't see it as a YA movie. I just saw it as a movie, you know. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, James wrote a world that was very original, very unique, and it was fun creating that visually. And not only that, but the situations themselves are so cinematic. There's so much like tension and drama that we can play. It was a lot of fun to have, just as a filmmaker, the chances to kind of create those edge of your seat moments, you know, that kind of intense suspense, and while at the same time having a real sense of heart and sort of maturity and sophistication to what these characters are dealing with, you know, because they're doing some pretty tough stuff, you know, these kids. Yeah, so it's very cool to pick up on that.
Hi, I have a question for Kaya. I loved you in The Truth About Emmanuel, which I saw when it was Emmanuel and The Truth About Fishes. So I didn't get a chance to ask you before, how did you like being the lead female in the cast, and if you were in the Glade, what task would you do?
I mean, it's always nice to be a part of the community. Lead female is just lead female, right? You don't have to keep one in male, female, or do it. Just lead.
I agree. I was asked to ask.
Pick up a boy, no more of that. Yeah, I mean, Emmanuel's a very special film, and it's totally different to this, which is what I love. It's very indie, it's very low budget, and quiet, and you know, still a lot of the time. And this for me was really exciting because I got to run around and be visible for the first time, and being part of such a big cast that is so fully rounded. You will feel so like a family. To think of it as people being on different levels is so strange to us. We never work. We're always on the same level when it comes to anything. So yeah, it's lovely to be a part of that.
My question is actually for James. I was wondering how much creative input you had in the film, and sort of if there was anything that the guys did that you thought, I wish you hadn't done that, or
Thank you for opening us up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, aside from casting, well, that was a good contractually, I didn't really have any power with this film because we sold the rights at the very beginning, and I was just a up-and-coming author. But Fox has treated me like an important part of this process from the very beginning. The producers called me, and we had a long talk about how excited they were. They said, "Look, you're the creator. It can only help us if you are involved in this." And so, you know, from the very beginning, I consulted on the script, and Wes and I spoke a lot about questions, especially when it regarded the fans and their reaction to certain scenes and things like that. I went to the set a couple of times. I went when they recorded the music, just all kinds of cool stuff. So I felt very involved, and I felt like they respected my input, and I knew they were the experts at making films, but I was thrilled to even give any advice. And I can honestly say the only part I hated in the movie was when it ended. That's the honest truth. The honest truth.
That's cool. Put that down.
Hello, over here. I was just wondering, when you start, this is for the director, when you take over this movie and it's like another young adult book being turned into a movie, there's so many right now. Were you worried that, you know, maybe it get lost in the shuffle, or what do you do to make it special so that it doesn't get lost with all the other movies that are coming out?
Yeah, and I was very aware of that. I think ultimately the concept itself stands out from the others. I mean, the closest thing, obviously when we always get compared to Hunger Games, you know. The thing about Hunger Games is that it's about kids being pitted against themselves. This is not that. This is almost more of a, you know, a shipwreck movie. This is a strange, you know, situation. These kids are placed into this environment and have to kind of, you know, create their own little world, their own society, and work together. You know, this is really about brotherhood and family and those kinds of themes coming together. And then we get this really great balls to the wall action kind of adventure thing. And for me, I wanted to get back to sort of what I grew up on, you know, Goonies and Alien and Jurassic Park and these kinds of movies that I think that have balls to them. You know what I mean? I mean, it's fun to watch this stuff, and we didn't get bogged down in sort of, you know, not that I don't like that stuff, but the romance, and sort of, you know, what it's like to be a teenager dealing with, you know, these kind of, we don't do that stuff. This is purely about dealing with some really hardcore, you know, intense situations and how these characters react to it. So it was a lot of fun, basically. I think that's where we're going to stand out. Not only that, but I think what separates us is it's a bunch of boys. You know, right now, for the last, you know, couple of years, it's been a lot of girl-centered stuff. And of course, we have one girl on our thing, but she, even Teresa, the character herself, becomes
biggest balls.
Yeah, exactly. She becomes one of the boys. And hopefully, if we're fortunate enough to kind of continue on this saga, we'll get to even explore the kind of deep kind of character things that they're dealing with even further, and having more fun, kind of opening up this world and the saga and the story and everything. And I think we'll see that's even more different than all the others. So we'll see. Fingers crossed.
Thank you very much, and I wish a movie all the luck in the world.
Thank you. Make it good.
Oh. Well, I have a question for Dylan specifically. You've talked about your start doing YouTube videos, but it was pretty impressively edited for your age. What was it like working with such a young director? Has that inspired you to maybe go into that side of producing?
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that I always think about when, I don't want to say it's going to sound funny because it's not the situation at all, when choosing a director to work with. It's not like I have my choice, but I mean, you know, I always, ideally, if it's somebody I can learn from and somebody who could be a hero of mine, somebody who I am just in awe of in the way they go about the filmmaking process. And Wes is absolutely that guy. And he's only like 10 years older than me. Like when I was making those YouTube videos, he was like my age now. That's just insane to me. It's his first movie, and the impression that I got from him immediately out of the gate was just how hardworking he was, what a genius he was, and also what a gift for storytelling he does have, and for just filmmaking in general. It's really got, you know, we all have the same taste in films, you know, and I just, you know, I ideally, again, it would just be a perfect situation for me to be on set, not only learning through experience and acting, but learning from a guy like him. And I think he's going to be a superstar.
Well, I'm gonna pass it on over there too, because I mean, it's really a team effort. I mean, my approach is the collaboration is important, you know. So the movie really rests on these actors' shoulders. That's what really drives the movie. And so, I mean, I learned so much from these guys, just the amount of commitment they gave to the stuff, and sort of, you know, that kind of that sort of collaborative thing as we kind of work through these scenes and sort of find the heart of these things and make something that means something. Because spectacle alone is not enough without sort of characters that you care about and a real sense of heart. So I would say we share it equally. I think all the cast and crew and everything.
There's gonna be hugs after this. This is so.
We're all candy.